Hello internet friends. It's me, Beatrice, back with the juicy stuff straight out of Reddit. Today I will be reading a couple of stories from r/AmItheA-hole. Sit back and enjoy. If you enjoy the stories, don't forget to tap the like button and subscribe. Press the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. Now on to the stories. Posted by @RABF Troubles. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not going to family dinners because they fit the time with my sister's schedule and never mine? I, 20 female, work full-time, 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. I am currently working from home due to world events. I also live on my own. My sister, 18 female, goes to college classes in the evenings and works a couple days a week. Ever since my sister has started her evening college classes a couple months ago, every family event is centered around her schedule. Her college classes start at 5 in the evening, so our schedules overlap. Meaning, if we have dinner, they eat before I am off work to coordinate with my sister, so when I get there around 5:15 to 5:30, I'm stuck eating alone while everyone has already ate or sometimes is already leaving. The issue in this matter is my grandma's birthday party. My mom put it together. Same sort of deal, my sister had class, I had to work until 5. I asked if instead of centering it around my sister's schedule, if she could be the one to eat early and we fit into my schedule this time. My mom said it made more sense to fit around my sister's schedule. When I asked why, because I literally couldn't think of a difference it would make, she said it just does. I spoke with my grandmother and she said she would wait to eat with me, but everyone else wouldn't. She also could not understand the reasoning behind it, but she said since she was not the one cooking or planning, she didn't feel she had much control over it. I told my mom that unless we could start alternating, fitting with my sister's schedule one time then mine the next, I would just start skipping out on family dinners, and that it was not fun to always have to be the one eating alone. My mom told me I was being an asshole and immature about the whole thing. I just don't feel it's fair the way we are doing it right now. Mine and my sister's are the only schedules that need to be worked around. Am I the a-hole here? Editing to clarify a couple things. Weekend dinners are not usually an option as my grandmother still works on the weekends, so weekday evenings are usually better as she is not working. These family dinners are not a nightly thing, more of a couple times a month thing for things like birthdays, graduations, or sometimes just to eat, but it's not nightly. More like a couple times a month. My sister does not live at home either, she lives with her boyfriend, so she is driving to my mom's as well. Only adding this to clarify that they definitely could alternate between us since she is having to come over as well, they just don't. My parents are divorced and this is my mother's side of the family, so my dad has no input here. I do provide some of the food for the dinners as well. Sometimes I will bring a dessert or something, but usually I will provide some of the food that will be cooked, like meat to be grilled as an example, since I can't bring a side dish because everyone has already ate before I get there. Here's the verdict. Not the a-hole. It's perfectly natural to expect equal treatment from your mom. Well, guess now you know who the favorite child is. Your grandmother is cool though. Down in the comments, Candy2228 says, why go to a family event if you are going to be alone anyway? Never be bored says, if you can't do family gatherings, have your own dinner with grandma. Skip your parents and sisters since they apparently don't value your time. Alternating between schedules is definitely the fair thing to do, and not giving a reasonable explanation is because your mom knows it's not reasonable. Calling you an asshole is not because you are an a-hole. She gets defensive because she knows she's in the wrong. Not the a-hole. Now on to the next story. Posted by Gobble Me Swallow Me. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my mom to stop treating my brother like a kid? I, 21 female, recently had a big fight with my mom. My brother, 17 male, has always been my mother's favorite, and no, I am not just saying this, but she tells this to everyone around her. So since we were kids he has been coddled his whole life. She checks his computer, his phone, barges into his room without knocking, even tries to hand feed him at this age. Anyway, he is a teen and now absolutely hates that he doesn't get his privacy. Anyway, it's COVID and he had this date with a girl. In my place, COVID is handled good so we can go to cafes if we follow the rules. My brother even told my mom about the date, and guess who followed him all the way? My mom. She sat in a booth nearby pretending to hide, and then my brother said he went to the bathroom and his date followed him. He said that he did it because he saw our mom there, and just wanted to kiss his date away from our mom's prying eyes. Anyway, they were there in for like 5 minutes when my mom barged in, physically separated them and yelled at the girl for ruining her baby and that she was a bad influence. It got worse up to the point the girl called our family bunch of creeps and left. My mom didn't stop. She was like, "Baby, did she hurt you? Are you okay?" And my brother, who never cried in public as a teen, called me crying to come pick him up because he was that embarrassed. I went and my mom wouldn't let him come with me, because she said only she can calm her baby. That's when I told her he is calm and just fucking mad at her because she is treating her like he is 10 and that's embarrassing him. All this happened in the parking outside the cafe, where my mom dragged my brother and his date out, and after I took my brother to my apartment, we talked and he doesn't even want to go back home because of many other incidents too. My mom is calling and texting, saying I had no right to act like an a-hole and embarrass her in public, and even my dad says my way of handling the situation is completely wrong. I still refuse to apologize, so does that make me an a-hole? Here's the verdict. Opie, your mom is a master of gaslighting. Seriously, how does she not see that her behavior is unhealthy? If she goes on like this, 10 years down the line she will be wondering why her baby son does not want to be in contact with her. Not the a-hole, Opie, your parents are the a-hole here. Down in the comment, ALS27 says, "At this rate, he's flying out that door the second the clock chimes midnight on his 18th birthday. Honestly, it seems his only chance for being a normal adult." Creeves9 says, "Not the a-hole. I'm really curious about what Mummy Dearest is going to do when it's time for your brother to attend university. If she keeps this up, he is going to either go to university and move across the country and never go back home after graduating, or he's going to go batshit crazy at university. Also, your dad needs to grow a pair." Badwolf7850 says, "My mom wanted me to be as secluded as possible. Wouldn't let me get my license, a job, socialize outside of school. When I started community college, she made me print my schedule and hang it on the fridge. She called the second I was out of class and demanded I stay on the phone until I got home. I ended up using that time I was at school for other things, like getting my license and getting a job, finding an apartment. The look on her face when I left was priceless. I failed that semester and couldn't afford to go back, but I don't think I would have passed anyways. She wasn't letting me study at school, and as anyone can imagine, my home life was awful and full of physical and mental abuse. It was really hard. She told me from a young age awful things would happen to me if I so much as went into a store alone and she was in the car. It took a long time for that paranoia she caused to fade. I'm sure she whines to literally anyone because her firstborn daughter has nothing to do with her and she hasn't met her only grandkid but doesn't know why." Now on to the next story. Posted by Keep Me Hidden. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my half-sister's plastic surgery from our family health fund? I try to give all details you maybe need, feel free to ask questions. All names are changed. I, 32 male, born from my mother Clara 57's infidelity, she is married to Greg. I have 4 siblings, A 36 female, B 34 female, C 26 female, D 24 female. My grandparents have raised me, because Greg refused to raise another man's child and there was no paternity test needed, because I was a mixed child, so my father has to be black. I never met him, don't even knew his name. My grandma was an American-Italian housewife. She was clearly my caretaker and for me my only mama. Grandpa was a very strict but also caring man and was always an idol to me. Both my grandparents were furious to my mother, not only because of her cheating, but because she abandoned me. This situation led to my grandparents' decision to make me the only one who inherit almost everything. My grandma died with 64 from a heart attack and grandpa died with 71 lung cancer. Grandpa had a life insurance. I was the only beneficiary, almost $300,000. I got the house I was raised in, marked value $280,000, and last grandpa created a family fund with $400,000. I had to manage it. The rules for this fund are simple. I can use it only for emergency and only for me and my half-siblings. Clara and Greg are not included in this fund. Until now, I have paid for A's IVF for her fertility issues, nearly $40,000. Her health insurance hasn't covered it. And CS appendix removal, $15,000, health insurance has covered a great part. So far no problems. But D plans to have plastic surgeries, a whole package of it, breast, nose, hips and more. It would erase nearly the half what is left in the fund. I refused because it is not an emergency. I would be okay with paying for plastic surgery if it is needed, example if an accident happened, but she just wants her makeover for her boyfriend. Of course, we had an argument which was not so pretty, and they threatened to sue me. They had sued me before, but Grandpa had made sure everything is totally fine. So am I the a-hole, if I stand on my feet? Mini update, I had a talk with everyone. Of my sisters it came out, they had no clue about D's plans. My mother tried to enable D and her lifestyle, and now my other siblings are very upset. I have invited everyone to my house and made sure again that the fund is only for health issues. It turned around to an screaming match between them. I just stood out of the conflict. So I didn't have any sleep yet and I have to go badly to my bed. Many of you asked why I have paid for A's IVF, simply because it affected her mental health. Many of you asked if D has deformations. No, she is just an average-looking woman for her age, but she wanted to be special. Again, thanks for all your responses, and have a great time. Here's the verdict. Not the a-hole. You have been managing the fund quite fairly, I should say. Even your other sisters know that D is totally out of line. Stand your ground, do not give in to your entitled sister's whining. If she wants elective surgeries, she can pay for them herself. Down in the comments, Mr. Saucy says. Not the a-hole. Stand your ground, that's not an emergency in the slightest, let them try to sue you. You don't need to give her anything for non-emergencies. Affirmative Robot says. You could be removed as the manager of the family fund if they could prove that you misused it, or spent it recklessly with disregard for the fund's purpose. Like if you did something crazy like blowing $150,000 on a luxury plastic surgery makeover. Can you imagine? A good lawyer could have you removed pronto. Not the a-hole. Don't give her a dime unless something goes wrong and she ends up in the ER or something. Even then, pay for the minimum, no extras. And that's all for today. Feel free to share whether you agree with the judgments, down in the comment section. Also, let me know what other subreddits you want me to cover. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next video, bye bye.